It starts with a swipe. One finger. One scroll. One spark. Just a few seconds, and something inside you lights up. You don't even notice it at first. It's just a short video. A dumb dance. A joke. A puppy. A girl. A guy. A sound. A trend. It makes you smile. Makes you curious. Maybe makes you feel less alone. And you scroll again. And again. And again. It's not a decision anymore. It's instinct. Suddenly, 20 minutes are gone. Then 40. Then an hour. You were just going to check something real quick. You were just bored. Just tired. Just looking for a break. But TikTok doesn't offer breaks. It offers escape. You don't realize it yet, but you've left. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally. You've slipped beneath the surface into that glowing stream of distraction, and you're drifting. You don't feel the current pulling you, but it is. It always is. You start chasing that first feeling, that dopamine hit, over and over again. But it never hits the same way twice. And so you keep scrolling, hoping, clicking, rewatching. You're not even watching anymore. You're being watched, tracked, predicted, served. Everything you see is what the algorithm knows will keep you here longer and longer. It's not entertainment, it's architecture, designed to trap you with pleasure while draining your presence. And the wild part is, you feel like you're in control. You feel like you're choosing what to watch. But in truth, you're being fed exactly what you can't stop watching. The things that make your heart beat faster. The things that make your brain light up. The things that hack your biology. It knows you better than your best friend. It knows when you're lonely, when you're tired, when you're insecure, when you're horny, when you're sad, when you're numb. And it gives you something for every one of those moments. But the cost? That's the part they don't show. Not in the app, not in the ads, not in the smiles of the creators getting rich off your attention. Because what you're paying isn't money. It's your time, your energy, your focus, your calm, your creativity, your life. One swipe at a time.
You told yourself it was harmless, just a way to relax. You had a long day, you're allowed some you time, right? But here's the twist. That 5-minute scroll wasn't rest. It felt like rest, but it was something else entirely. You didn't rest your mind. You fed it chaos, micro doses of emotion, rapid-fire information, conflicting ideas, faces, sounds, lights, over and over, fast, faster, too fast. You thought you were escaping stress, but TikTok isn't an escape. It's a loop, a treadmill that looks like a doorway. And you didn't walk away from your problems, you just muted them for a little while until they came back louder. Now you can't focus. You try to work and your brain itches. You try to sit still and you feel like you're missing something. Your fingers move toward your phone before you even notice. And you scroll, not out of choice, but out of need. Because the app made your baseline reality feel boring. Too slow, too quiet, too real. It trained your brain to crave distraction, to expect novelty, to need reward every few seconds. Now, real life can't compete. The conversation at dinner feels too long. The book you started feels like homework. The silence in the shower feels like punishment. So you reach for the one thing that always fills the gap. Swipe, swipe, swipe. But here's the thing. The more you escape to TikTok, the less capable you are of escaping from it. It's not just changing how you spend time, it's changing how you feel time. You forget what it's like to be bored without needing to fix it, to be still without guilt, to be present without a lens between you and the moment. This isn't rest. It's stimulation dressed up as freedom. But real rest, that's something else. Something slower, quieter, heavier, rarer. Something TikTok doesn't want you to find.
You think you're in control. You choose what to watch. You pick the content, right? But here's what no one tells you. The you that's choosing, he's not the one that opened the app. He's the one the app built. Every scroll, every pause, every like was a lesson. Not for you, for the algorithm. It watched you hesitate, noted when your pupils dilated, recorded what made you smirk, flinch, stop. And then, it started writing your story. Not with words, with suggestions. It doesn't push what you want, it teaches you what to want. You think you're following your interests, but slowly, invisibly, you're following its leash. It decides what you see. It decides what you miss. It decides who you become. Because the more you consume a certain kind of content, motivational hustle, body transformations, breakup rage, political fear, the more it serves you only that. Until your world isn't a world anymore, just a hallway of mirrors reflecting what it thinks will keep you watching. And the scariest part? It's usually right. So you see more of what spikes emotion, not what builds wisdom. You stop exploring, you stop questioning, you stop being curious, because everything feels like it was already chosen for you. What you believe, what you fear, what you think about when you wake up. The algorithm isn't just recommending content, it's scripting your inner monologue. Now you wake up and check TikTok before you check in with yourself. You see the world through someone else's edit. You repeat takes you didn't form, in arguments you never chose to join. And you feel informed, inspired, connected. But underneath it all, you're being shaped, subtly, daily, by code that doesn't care who you are, only that you stay. Because it's not trying to make you better, it's trying to make you watch longer. And if that means feeding you fear, anxiety, anger, or false hope, so be it. It doesn't want you to think, it wants you to react. And it's very, very good at making sure you do.
You're never alone anymore. But when was the last time you truly felt seen? There's always something buzzing. A new video, a new trend, a new soundbite. Someone else's life playing on loop, right in front of yours. Silence has become suspicious. Stillness feels like failure. And the moment you're left with your own thoughts, you reach for the escape hatch. It's always there, in your pocket. One tap, and you're gone. But where do you go? You disappear into noise. You vanish into curated chaos. And the saddest part is you don't even notice it's happening. The edges of your mind, the ones that were once sharp, curious, reflective, they've softened, blurred by constant stimulation. You don't process your thoughts anymore. You interrupt them. You scroll while you eat, scroll while you walk, scroll while talking to friends, scroll while pretending to sleep. And slowly, you stop forming your own inner world because the outer one never shuts up. There's no room to think, no space to feel, no air to breathe between ideas. And so the question isn't, why do you use TikTok so much? It's deeper. Why are you so afraid to be alone with yourself? There was a time when boredom sparked creativity, when solitude brought insight, when doing nothing for a while meant something was growing inside. But now the moment nothing is happening, you panic. You fill the void. Not because it's painful, but because you forgot how to be with it. Every quiet second is a missed opportunity for the app. So it hijacks them. And in doing so, it hijacks you. Your identity becomes fragmented, part you, part everything you've consumed. You're not thinking, you're reacting. You're not reflecting, you're absorbing. You become a collage of other people's opinions, aesthetics, jokes, insecurities. You lose your edge, your originality, your intuition. And for what? To avoid a silence that used to be sacred.
You think it's your fault, that you have no willpower, that you're just weak. But that's the trap. This isn't just about attention, it's about addiction. And not the obvious kind, the chemical, the physical. This one's invisible, engineered. Your phone doesn't give you what you want. It gives you just enough to keep you wanting. That hit of dopamine, it's not from satisfaction, it's from anticipation. The next swipe might be funny, the next video might hit, the next scroll might feel like something real, but it never quite does. You chase it anyway, because the chase is the reward. TikTok and apps like it don't show you what's meaningful, they show you what's engaging. And what's engaging is what's extreme, what's loud, what's absurd, what's emotionally volatile. You become a rat in a maze, not searching for cheese, but for a screen that never says, "That's enough." And the more you scroll, the more the algorithm learns you. It doesn't just track what you like, it tracks what keeps you. How long your thumb hovers, what makes your pupils dilate, what makes you pause for half a second longer than usual. It builds a version of you that's easier to manipulate. Not the full you, not the thoughtful, complex, conflicted, curious you, just the reactive you. The part of you that responds to novelty, outrage, and validation. And it feeds that part until it swallows the rest. Ever wonder why it's hard to read a book now? Why it's harder to sit through a full movie? Why even music, something once immersive, now feels like background noise? You've been conditioned to expect a new emotional stimulus every few seconds. And when that doesn't happen, you feel anxious, unsettled, empty. That's not laziness, that's neural hijacking. Your brain's reward system, the same one that helped ancient humans survive, find food, build shelter, seek connection, has been reverse engineered into a bottomless slot machine. You don't consume content anymore, you feed it your attention.
And in return, it feeds your impulse. It's not entertainment, it's behavioral conditioning. And the most dangerous part, it feels normal. Because when the cage is invisible, you forget you're even trapped.
There's a reason your feed feels like an emotional roller coaster. And it's not because your life is chaotic, it's because your pain is profitable. TikTok doesn't just show you people suffering, it packages suffering into entertainment. Anxiety becomes a relatable skit. Depression becomes a trending sound. Trauma gets stitched, duetted, reacted to, and suddenly it's content. But here's the thing no one admits. The platform doesn't want to solve your problems. It wants to keep you in them. Why? Because unresolved emotions keep you scrolling. You start your day with a 30-second clip of someone confessing their burnout. You nod. You feel seen. Then the next video shows someone escaping the rat race at 23, buying a villa in Bali. You feel behind. Next, a self-care guru with perfect lighting and perfect skin, whispering, "It's okay not to be okay." Your brain is flooded with contrast, comfort, envy, shame, hope. It's a loop of unsatisfying empathy. And slowly, your suffering becomes something you perform. You're not healing, you're rehearsing. You rehearse what kind of trauma makes people care. You rehearse sadness in a format that might go viral. Because online, the most broken version of you is often the most engaging. Creators know it, the algorithm rewards it, and you become addicted to your own vulnerability. Even if you don't post, you still consume it. You scroll through strangers' pain as if it's a buffet. Trauma stories, mental breakdowns, day in my life with anxiety vlogs, all carefully edited, filtered, and set to music. It makes you feel connected, but also powerless. Because no one shows the quiet work of healing. No one goes viral for turning off their phone, going to therapy, or sitting in silence with their thoughts. That's not content. That's invisible. TikTok has turned inner pain into outer performance. Not because it cares, but because it converts. And the worst part, you start thinking you're the problem for not being productive, attractive, successful, when in reality, you're just watching a parade of polished suffering edited for maximum impact. Every tap on that heart icon sends a message. This hurts me, but I want more. You used to want simple things, peace, purpose, maybe a decent cup of coffee and someone to share it with. Now, you want a 4-bedroom minimalist home, a 6-figure income, a passive side hustle, a body fat percentage of 9%, and a sunrise routine that includes journaling, cold plunges, and matcha. Not because you need them, but because you've seen them over and over and over again. TikTok doesn't just make you want more, it makes you want everything immediately. Every video is a little spark of desire. This is what your apartment should look like. This is how you should dress. This is how your boyfriend should surprise you. This is what you should eat, buy, do, and be. It's not just aspiration, it's algorithmic discontent, because the app is designed to feed you dreams you didn't ask for until your current life feels like a glitch. Suddenly, your lunch looks sad, your job feels pointless, your relationships lacking the aesthetic. You're not just unhappy, you're inadequate. And the worst part is, it happens in microdoses, not through loud screams, but soft suggestions. The kind of content that whispers, "This could be you, if only you were better." It's envy without rage, insecurity without awareness, a slow drip of not enough that numbs you into believing more will fix it. But more doesn't come, because as soon as you upgrade, the feed upgrades again. There's always someone richer, fitter, happier, more aligned. The bar isn't moving, it's disappearing. You chase a version of yourself that doesn't exist. Curated, controlled, consumed. And while you're busy scrolling for motivation, you forget to live in the parts of your life that don't come with a soundtrack. That walk in silence, that mediocre dinner with someone you love, that weekend that was just quiet. Those don't trend, but those heal. The feed doesn't want you grateful. It wants you hungry. Hungry enough to keep watching. Hungry enough to buy. Hungry enough to feel that who you are right now is never quite enough.